On today's video, we're going to be talking about cereal. What? I ain't kidding. This ain't no joke. It's going to be an interesting video. I really hope so. I promise. Let's all have good faith.
You serious?
As a kid, I'm sure we all had our favorite types of cereals. I mean, there's lots of awesome ones out there, like Lucky Charms, Trix, Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes, just to name a few. But what's the one thing you had to have if you wanted your cereal to stand out?
50% more cocoa!
No, you dumb bird. You needed a cool mascot. Fruit Loops had Toucan Sam. Frosted Flakes had Big Ol' Tony the Tiger. Lucky Charms had their very own magical freaking leprechaun. Heck, even Baby Shark has his own cereal nowadays. Damn you, Baby Shark! But if there's one mascot that I would never forget, it would be that crazed furry Honeycombs mascot.
Honeycomb!
Yeah, that's the one. So why don't you all just sit back and relax? And let's talk about the history of honeycombs and how that crazy furball mascot came to be. The Honeycomb franchise started back in 1965, and through the 60s and 70s, the Honeycombs mascot was represented by a guy who went by the name of the Honeycomb Kid. And he was this heroic white cowboy dude who pretty much sounded like John Wayne.
Gotta bring those folks post-honeycomb.
And the guy would show up out of nowhere with his honeycombs ready to save the day.
Yeah, there's that.
And this man had a fetish for riding on top of animals. Like, this dude would ride on polar bears, dolphins. Heck, in one episode, he rides on a golden eagle putting out wildfires. Cause apparently, riding on top of horses wasn't enough for the guy. He could even lasso the moon.
I'll lasso the moon and use it for a searchlight.
There she is!
Like, what the heck? How's this even possible? Probably just as possible as surfing on dolphins, riding down a wild river. Cause yeah, he did that too. There was just no stopping this guy. He was just so freaking OP, and he probably deserved to have his very own anime. Okay, so that might be stretching it a bit, but he was very enjoyable for something that was made back in 1966, over 50 years ago. So I give the company mad props for starting something that would kind of pave the way for cereal commercials in the future. The Honeycomb Kid mascot would remain the face of Honeycombs until they did away with him starting in the early 1980s, where the commercials went to live action and would take place in the Honeycomb Hideout, aka a kid's clubhouse, and the kids all hung out with this robot for some reason.
Honeycomb, honeycomb, honeycomb.
Where some visitor would come by, be it being a tough wrestler, a monster truck driver, or heck, even Andre the Giant. Yes, they got Andre the Giant in on this because, you know, he was a big hit at the time, and like, man, we gotta get him to be a part of the Honeycombs commercials. Now, they would sing the jingle of the honeycomb, you know, the one that goes, big, yeah, 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 it's not small. And the visitor would then proceed to hang out and eat all the kids' honeycombs cause, yeah, man, what a guy. Cause screw getting your own honeycombs, I'm just gonna eat all these kids' honeycombs. Every now and then, through the mid-1980s, there would be a commercial that would consist of a kid who wanted some honeycombs from the adults.
Honeycomb?
But the adults were like, little kid wants her big honeycomb. You ain't gonna get this, kid. And the kid would be like, who you calling little kid, bitch? And which would prompt the kid to go do some over-the-top stunt or whatever and impress all the adults. And they would be like, we didn't know you were a honeycomb kid. Wow, you're amazing. Hell, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can have some of my honeycombs. All right. But those commercials didn't really seem to get the people all excited enough about honeycombs.
I didn't know you were a honeycomb, kid.
So Post, the company behind Honeycombs, they needed a new angle, a brand, a new mascot needed to be born. And that's when it happened. In the year 1995, everything you knew about honeycombs would change.
What?
Honeycomb, honeycomb, me want honeycomb!
The crazy craving for honeycomb.
In that year, the mascot known as Crazy Craven was introduced on the scene. And now, Crazy Craven was this wild-haired, marsupial-like creature who rabidly craved honeycomb cereal, like an addiction or a drug addict. Honeycombs was the creature's drug, yes, and there was no stopping him. He just had that crazy craved addiction that derived from the idea of him wanting honeycombs. And oddly enough, who the children in the commercials sometimes would transform into, which in some cases, it would get a little freaky at times. Here, check it out. I made a short montage of some crazy transformations that were caused by the power of honeycomb.
Honeycomb?
Okay, I think that's enough. I think we get the point. There were a lot of weird transformations with the honeycomb commercials, and they were just very odd and bizarre, and could cause somebody to have a decent amount of nightmares if you're not too careful.
Tastes like toasted honey.
The name The Crazy Craven, it derived from the idea that the monster would be this anthropomorphism of the entity hunger.
Me want honeycomb. Move it, hula boy. Table for two, please.
Perfect. It's so real.
Like, for instance, the honeycomb commercial where they were at the museum and you had all these kids, they're like, we need honeycombs. Oh, honeycombs. And they all started transforming and their eyes were popping out of their heads. Talk about some weird imagery for you in a cereal commercial. This was just an era where commercials were just meant to be weirder and bizarre and more odd than most. I mean, when you compare it to some of those popsicle commercials, these honeycomb commercials all seem pretty tame.
Firecracker! Now with more intense flavors!
Only want a firecracker.
Like, you'd have all the kids just chilling at the library, and out of nowhere, you got this honeycombs drug lord trying to influence all the kids and get them all addicted to his twisted honeycomb crack cereal.
Sweet and crunchy, sweet and crunchy. Honeycomb's so sweet and crunchy.
There would be tons of commercials airing for about the span of 15 years that include this wild, hairy, crazy Crave mascot until around the year of 2010, which sadly he would be done away and replaced with Bernard the Bee Boy. Who the fuck is this?
This is Bernard, the boy who was raised by bees. From birth, Bernard was raised as one of their own.
This kid named Bernard the Bee Boy, he was pretty weird. He was raised by bees. He was an antisocial nutcase. And every time somebody tried to convince him he was a bee, he would make this buzz sound, which was very, very annoying.
You're not a bee, Bernard. You're a boy. Boy.
It takes a big mouth to enjoy pieces this big. With a new, bigger Honey Sweet Crunch that big mouths really love.
So I'm gonna miss the Crazy Crave Honeycombs mascot. It was one hell of an image, and I think it's something that has left a big impact in the back of everyone's mind, even if they liked it or not.
Yeah!
Tell me, what you guys think about the Crazy Crave Honeycombs mascot? Do you think he was weird, pretty cool, a hero, or just a crazy ass wet fever dream? Let me know below, and don't forget to try to like and subscribe or whatever, and I'll see you guys next time. Remember to stay awesome. Cory out. Peace.